Saturday Night Live. It's the Season 3 recap show with Matt and I here at SNL. My name is Keith. With me as always, good buddy Matt. Hello, Matt.
Hi, Keith. TGIS.
So would you like to know our top 3 episodes of the season?
Absolutely.
Our third place one was the Steve Martin episode, Steve Martin's fourth appearance with Randy Newman and the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. And that one had, I can give you some sketches. It had Family Feud, the Coneheads Family Feud.
Oh, I love that one, yeah.
Gary Weiss film, Homes of the Stars. It had Body Floss, which I remember you enjoying.
Yes.
That one scores well, even on IMDb as well. So yeah, that's a well-liked episode. Our second choice, I know you do remember it. We've talked about it a few times throughout the season, was the Charles Grodin Paul Simon episode, where Charles Grodin made it as if he didn't rehearse. And great night of comedy that night, I thought, anyway.
I love Charles Grodin. Yeah, I thought he was, I remember thinking he was really funny on the show. He has that cantankerous disposition. I remember that one pretty fondly.
It had Irwin Mainway with Consumer Probes. It had the Coneheads Halloween. It had Samurai Dry Cleaner, Charles Grodin pretending to be Art Garfunkel. A lot of good stuff there.
Nice. I forgot about the Art Garfunkel one. That was funny.
And it should be no surprise, our number one episode this year was Steve Martin, the Blues Brothers. Rebecca was with us for that one. It had the Festrunk brothers, the strongest of their offerings. Theodoric of York, the Dancing in the Dark, where Martin and Gilda danced around the studio. Just a tremendous episode across the board. I gave it a perfect 10.
Yeah, I remember thinking very highly of that. And I'm not a Blues Brothers guy, but that was certainly a season 3 highlight, big time.
Yeah, and it's highly rated as well on IMDb. It's often like number 1. It was number 1 for a long, long time. Just a tremendous episode across the board. Now, our top 3 were not. My top 3 for the season were exactly that. Your top 3 were actually the Steve Martin number 5, Charles Grodin, and the Robert Klein episode that had the attack of the atomic lobsters at the end.
Robert Klein. I like when these weird straight dudes host the show.
Yeah. And also that was our other chair, third chair's favorite 3 as well. Yeah, and the IMDb is not too different. Their top 3 were this Steve Martin episode with the Blues Brothers, Christopher Lee, and Robert Klein. So we're not too far off. It's weird because we do see things a lot differently, I think, than the IMDb does, but sort of like sometimes with us where we disagree with everything and then our star of the night is the same,
Yeah.
So a bit more on the stats. Our lowest rated episodes of the year should come. One of them should come as no surprise, at least. Our lowest rated episode that got averaged out at a 4 was the Hugh Hefner Libby Titus episode.
Yeah, I didn't care for that.
As Chili said, you come in with a sniper rifle pointed right at Hugh Hefner's head, as it was, and on top of that, the show wasn't great. So. In a weird twist of fate, our second lowest was the first episode of the season, Steve Martin, Jackson Brown, only got a 4.3. That one was it was a weeknight for Steve Martin. It had that sketch Mike McMack defense lawyer. It was a bunch of rape jokes against Gilda.
Yeah, Gilda, yeah.
Yeah, and Jackson Brown didn't tickle our fancy either. So yeah, that one was there. And then in probably like my own personal shocker of the season, our third lowest episode, getting only a 5, was the Buck Henry Leon Redbone episode. I've said it since the night we recorded, or actually since I did my notes. My expectations were too high. It's one of my favorite musical guests and probably my favorite host. So that was a bit of a letdown.
Yeah, I remember being distinctly disappointed. And I mean, once again, this is not a guy that we'll only see once this season, which is, I hate that. I don't appreciate multiple episodes for the same host in a season. I hope they ditch that.
Yeah, that one did have Little Chocolate Donuts and a great Tom Schiller sketch, Life After Death. But it also had, there was a samurai, which usually poisons us. And it had that terrible Ricky Rat sketch, which was the whole cast kind of like Inner City Mickey Mouse Club. I don't know if you have a memory of that, but
vaguely I can see them with the names on their shirts and the terrible costuming that they use.
Yeah. So just a few numbers. Live from New York, Chevy still holds that record. He has said it 29 times. John Belushi has said it 8, and Gilda has said it 7. Now, bearing in mind that Chevy said it almost every episode in the first year, he will eventually be overtaken. But I kind of like keeping a tally on this one just to see, because I know, like, for example, I think Daryl Hammond has the record. But at what point does Chevy lose that crown? Another Chevy crown that has been lost is Weekend Update. Jane has now hosted or co-hosted 38 times, Chevy 29, and Dan Aykroyd 20. So that one will also be blown extremely hardly out of the water in the years to come.
Very interested to see the progression of Weekend Update. It's one of the obviously hallmarks of the show, and it just changes so much, too much in these early seasons. I'm finding it.
We've got a couple more mini episodes that'll be out or are already floating around. We'll be back with season 4 soon. We have some movie reviews coming up and a couple of episodes we've already recorded this past summer with some of the third chairs. Matt, it's going to be exciting looking into season 4 already.
I'm excited. I'm ready.
Sweet. So thanks for listening to SNL, and we'll see you soon.